The opposition leader.
Speaker, my question is, without notice, is directed to the Prime Minister. It's a short one. Mr. Acting Speaker, the Gold Bullion Agreement, which was negotiated, drafted, and driven by the government, has been brought before the National Court by a private citizen. And the National Court has ordered for the full details and disclosure of the government-owned company and vehicle that was registered offshore and its share arrangements to be made public. Mr. Acting Speaker, my questions without notice to the Prime Minister are related to this. Will the Prime Minister divulge copies of the agreement and cabinet submissions, decisions, the company details, and all negotiations?
The Honourable Opposition Leader, we have a point of order. The point of order, Honourable Member for Poponeta, what's your point of order?
My point of order, Mr. Acting Speaker, is the matter is now before the courts, and it is improper for the Prime Minister to preempt any findings on this House until the determination is done by the courts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, the matter has been before the court and the court have already made a decision. Court have already made a decision on that, so it doesn't stop the opposition leader to ask the question. So the question can still be asked by the opposition leader.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. The
opposition leader, I think we have another point of order. Minister for Justice.
The matter has the National Court made a decision. However, the matter, they are proceeding on to appeal its own foot. So it will not be right for opposition leader.
There's no appeal.
Honourable Minister, the consent of Parliament has been informed by the clerk that we haven't got any notice of that on the appeal, so I will still allow the opposition leader to go ahead and ask the question.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Like I said, it's a simple question. Mr. Acting Speaker, will the Prime Minister make available copies of the agreement, the NEC submission, decisions, the company details, and all negotiations and actions the government has taken, and they will have this table in this House for scrutiny in line with the National Court decision, including information relating to owners of the company, shareholding arrangements, why this company was registered in Singapore, and is it private or publicly listed? So many questions are needing answers, Mr. Acting Speaker. Thank you.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. We talk, thank you, Leader of the Opposition, ask him this black question. It's a matter of public interest. And so, whilst Tupla Leader, Chairman of Public Accounts, and also Minister for Justice, feel as a matter is tablo court, I think, Speaker, me acknowledge the ruling blue. Court clearing this plan, state also, filing an appeal, so the matters of public interest needs to be asked, needs to be responded upon. And I'm certainly pleased to make a few reply to the question. But firstly, let me acknowledge our leaders from Bougainville who are here in chamber with us. Bougainville is a special region in our country. We're going through the process into deciding on the political settlement consistent with the constitution of our country. They are here, I think, also considering a possible ministerial statement by the Minister for Bougainville on the Bougainville issue. The statement is not ready as yet, but I just want to assure our leaders from Bougainville, the Bougainville peace process agreement since 2001 is an important process that this government and this parliament will be taking carriage of. Our program is clearly defined in the Kokobo post-referendum consultations, in the WABEC post-referendum consultations, and in the Era Kone signings that we did sign upon between both sides. So to the leaders of Bougainville, thank you for gracing us with your presence today. We certainly take note of your presence, and I look forward to meeting you all after these sessions also. But going back to the gold bullion issue, let me inform the House. Whatever relevant information the country needs to know, especially on matters surrounding the company, the proponent, and the business case, will be put to the public. Because the opposition leaders asked this question, whatever is relevant and consistent with law for us to get it out to the public, we will do so. It's public's entitled to know in a substantial matter like this. But a little bit of advice to through you, the acting speaker. The Attorney General and the Department of Justice is looking at going to court on the aspect of cabinet processes being questioned, midlife through the process being fully dispensed with. I think that's an issue. It's not just for the Marape Rosso government or this government, but even going forward, we need to be clear on what is the time anyone can file in a reference on such a matters when the process is not fully complete. I want to assure this House and the country, the process of cabinet is contestable, but it must come in at an appropriate time, whether before or after, and not midlife through. Government needs to work. Government needs to dispense government policies that must be progressed, and so that aspect will be relooked at. But we're considering the judgment because court orders are court orders. We're considering the judgment and in respect to the court order, relevant information that the court has requested that can, in our considered view, be made public for public interest will be made public, especially matters relating to the structure of the gold bullion business that we want to enter upon. Who owns what? Shares. How does Papua New Guinea benefit? Mr. Acting Speaker, you know very well, government on this side is a pro-nationalist government. Any work we work upon is to get more for our country, period. Nothing less, but everything more for our country under the existing legislative framework we have, and anything we can push to get back more, we are pushing. So the gold bullion will be structured in such a way. The intention to move into gold bullion, gold refinery will be structured in a way that is not harmful to existing industries and their contract, that is not harmful to existing players or businesses in the industry, but make it more accountable. Just like we're trying to account for how many forestry harvests we make in our country, how many fisheries harvests we make in our country. Unbeknown to many of us, individuals smuggling gold out big time. For those who are in the registered big investment harvest that is going on like Lihir, Pogra, Okteri, and Harmony, we've now for the first time since we took office, by a simple amendment to the Mining Act, we now have a data registry link at Marape, and for the first time now we can know exactly what is happening in the processing center in Lihir, in Pogra, soon to be reopened very, very soon. Okteri, our own state mine, we will now set up that in Ramonikol and all mining in our country for greater accountability. This gold bullion conversation is about accountability for all gold processed and produced in our country, so that we can tax proper, landowners can benefit proper, and not operate in shady environment where there is no greater light or scrutiny in the gold business. And so I give you full assurance, Mr. Acting Speaker. The opposition leaders ask a very important question for the country to know in full detail. If there has not been any clarity on this one, I do apologize. But it is not a policy that is programmed to siphon of benefit for Papua New Guineans. Rather, it is structured to get more benefit from us. The current proponents, they've been in and out of our country for the last 10 or so years, from what I've been advised. The proposal earlier that was mooted was a 30% proposal to us and a 70% proposal to them. We're now relooking at, just like we've structured a better arrangement with Pogra, where we get 51% equity and the investors have 49% equity, where we do not pay for equity, but we participate in the cost of restartup at not 51, but at 36%. As the acting speaker, I want to inform you in this House, James Marape is all about fighting for greater interests of our country from our resources. That is the mark of difference between me and others of past. And I will inform this House proper on what this gold refinery and bullion policy is all about, as you would have known. And I want to give assurance to you, Mr. Acting Speaker, the opposition leader. I want to assure you, we are not in a rush. We want to get this. It is a big step in all our downstream processing focuses. Gold downstream is the biggest. That is the highest. And we are not in a rush, but to do it proper. This concept or this proposal has been on foot for the last 10 or 11, 12 years. Came in when the O'Neill government was in office. But we're restructuring it so that it is a win for our small people who own the gold resource or sit on the gold resources, our existing alluvial miners, including some of the biggest mouth-offs. I'm doing it for them and not for anyone else. They're already in the gold business. And for us to account for the gold so that it doesn't walk out on suitcases and briefcases, away from a scrutiny on state losing out on revenue from what is our inherent right and resources. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.